Hi, Iain here at the Whisky Show with Angus, who is head of...
Hello, Decadent Drinks. So we do. We're an independent bottler. We do brands like Whisky Sponge, Notable Age Statements, and Equinox and Solstice. And we also have today a bunch of old and rare bottles, which are really just from my own collection. My background is old and rare whiskies, so I used to do a lot more stuff with that. And I agreed this year with the Whisky Exchange to come and show some old bottles at the festival.
Where did you learn that?
I used to work in auctions, so I learned a lot about old bottles and history of old bottles, and how to date them, how to spot counterfeits. And in doing that, also my biggest passion was to taste them and to have a chance to explore and learn about historic styles and flavour profiles of whiskey. I really like old style whiskey. I think the difference between what was produced decades ago before the 1970s and today is quite profound, and when you try them I think it's really quite an obvious thing.
So I met Angus when I was here 2 days ago on the first day. The first thing I did was to get a few tokens, just a few, and get the Laphroaig 14 years that is from the 50s.
Yeah, so this was a bottle which was this is a bottling for America, and it was rotation 1953, so bottled in 53 for America. It's 14 years old, so that puts it comfortably into the 1930s in terms of distillation era, and bottled at 91.4 US proof, so that's me 45.7, 45.8%. So this is really a chance to try a style of whiskey which hasn't existed since the Second World War, really. It's Laphroaig, which would have been made entirely using its own floor maltings, entirely using peat cut from Islay, and this is an era when they needed to use peat to dry the barley, so it was a fuel source, not just a flavouring agent. It obviously gave the whiskey profound flavour, but because they're burning peat from deeper in the bog to get heat as well, you get a different phenolic signature in the barley. Combine that with just generally different equipment, more human intervention, and generally different aspects of production, different yeast, different fermentation, different mashing regimes. Cumulatively, that creates a very different profile. The one you've got there is a little later, but it's also Laphroaig. The label's sort of destroyed on this bottle, but it was a bottling for America as well under a label called Prime Malt. It was done in the 1970s, so it's early 60s distilled Laphroaig. So it's still an era of its own floor maltings, but this is a time when they changed to using more brewer's yeasts, and it created a much more fruity, evocative, and very tropical-driven flavour profile. So lighter peat than today, but stunning tropical fruit. This is in the era when Bessie Williamson was running the distillery, so it's really, this is her signature and the spirit, and it's what I would say has made Laphroaig so kind of desirable amongst old spirit enthusiasts.
She did a good job in America.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I'm glad you like it. It's nice to...
Phenomenal. It's heavy, and it's meaty in that sense, and salty, but still very rich and delicate.
There's a finesse and a complexity and a beauty about it, which is very evocative, and there's very few distilleries that have this character and this combination of flavors. This tropical fruit mixed with subtle peat smoke is my favorite thing in whiskey. It's beautiful.
And there was another one that I tasted.
Yeah, you tasted this one. So that's a 10-year-old Laphroaig. This was bottled for Germany, so German import. Bottled around 1980, so you'd be looking at a slightly later 60s distillate for this, but still from the era when Bessie Williamson was in charge of the distillery. So, and that was at 43%. And that one might have a little more sherry, yeah. And this one and this one are both 45.8. This one's 43.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's nice to meet you.